Welcome back to the Intuitive Mentor Mom podcast, where we explore strategies for practicing more self-love, gratitude, and finding new ways to empower ourselves in this ever-changing healing adventure of life happening for us. I'm your host, Mychelle. Let's get started. Welcome back to Intuitive Mentor Mom podcast. I'm excited to be with you guys this week. Oh my goodness. For those of you newly listening, my name is Mychelle. I am an intuitive. I am an empath. I am a single mom. I am also, I work in corporate America. So I do a lot of things. And one of my passions is to share aspects of my life, things that I move through, and really just to share with you how I move through various times in my life, whether they be challenging, whether they be heroic, whether they be mundane, whatever it is. I share how I move through life because I really believe that we are all here to support one another. And I feel that life is happening for us. It's not happening to us. It's happening for us. And who are we going to be in the situation? Who are we going to be in the circumstance? And the context of this show is really about that. And I share from aspects of my life. A lot of times I'll be talking about whether it's romantic relationships, whether it's career, whether it's parenting, whether it's just self-care, self-help with myself. And how do I navigate all that? In hopes that something along the way that I share will hopefully inspire, motivate, and activate you in whatever you're up to, whatever your truth is, whatever you may be challenged with, whatever stops or blocks you may be feeling, that something that I share inspires you, shifts a perspective, and allows you to, expand to the next level of your life. So, with that said, the last episode I was talking about overwhelm, okay? And I personally have been grappling deeply in a state of overwhelm. And some of the things that I talked about doing in the last episode was really, making a list. Those are things that I do. I have to make a list. I have to get everything that's in my head out of my head and onto paper. Because what ends up happening is it's like, appointments for the pets, appointments for for myself, the school schedule, the football schedule, everything, the schedule for work, all the things I have to do at work. It piles up, not to mention, cleaning the house, managing a household, managing a territory for my career, managing the animals, managing everything, my son's education, the support and help that he may need. Holidays are coming up. So all these things. And as I shared in the last episode, I'm moving through a tough time at work. Work is really challenging right now. And funny enough, we just had a layoff. So they laid off several people this week. I am beyond grateful that my name was not on that list because that would really send me in a tailspin. That would be 2 layoffs this year, and that would be really hard. But that doesn't mean it isn't going to happen. It doesn't mean that it's not possible. So I am grateful for this moment in time right now. But it adds to this level of stress as a single parent. And I'm speaking to all parents out there, speaking to all moms out there. I think that being a mom, being a parent, no matter whether you're single or you have a partner or you have a lot of support from family, it's still a very stressful, daunting, at times, you know, it can be a challenging task. It's a challenging task to do what we do. So, like I said, there was a layoff this week, and very shocking. Like none of us, I definitely was not expecting that, not at all. And really feel for my colleagues, and I've been doing all that I could to support them, sending them, recruiter leads and reaching out to recruiters to talk with them and hopefully supporting them in what's next for them on this journey. But what I went ahead and did, and I went back to episode 1. If some of you remember episode 1, where I talked about being in the gap, and I talked about, the experience I used was when I went through the layoff earlier this year. And I chose to go back and listen to that, which was great because I was like, what is it that I said? What were the things that I really talked about? Was there anything that I might have missed that I'm missing right now because I'm in a stressful, tough time at work, faced with all the challenges that we're facing? I think the industry itself is facing numerous challenges. The economy is facing challenges. We're on an election year. There's a lot going on at this time. It's a very trying time. So, today's episode that I'd like to focus on is self care in the state of overwhelm. Okay. I will admit I am still in a state of overwhelm. I am. I did take on creating my list. I did take on taking a few days off and really getting my house in order as much as I could and really tackling this to-do list of little tedious things like things I haven't taken back to go back to Amazon or, you know, phone calls I hadn't made or appointments I hadn't made or emails I hadn't checked on in order to make appointments and, things like the parent teacher conference day, getting caught up on newsletters for my son's school and making sure that all these things, these little tiny things that I have to manage on a day-to-day basis that I sometimes will just skip because it's like, you know what? I got too much on my plate. I can't even look at that right now. I'll look at it when it comes time. Making sure that I got through a lot of those and taking that time off for myself was huge. I want to talk about today. I made a list of things that I do for self-care, and it actually ended up being seven things that are most important when managing your self-care. Because really, as a single mom, as a single parent, as a mom, let's just say mom, in order for mom to be really present for her kids, in order for mom to bring her fullest self to her partner, to her children, to her work, her colleagues, her friends, her family, the most important thing is making sure your cups are full. You have to make sure your cups are full. And what that looks like is self care. But are you really clear what your self care needs are? One of them is for me is drinking lots of water. Okay. That's a self care. That's filling my cup. It's actually not on my list, but it's one of those things because I'm staring at my giant water bottle right now in front of me. But I wanted to share some of the things that are very important and very crucial that I do in states and times of overwhelm. And I will tell you right now, I did it today because today I woke up, I was not feeling it. I literally woke up with the visual of a giant steak, like a massive wooden stake plunged through my chest and I was pinned to the ground. That is what I woke up in today. That is how I felt. I felt heavy. I felt emotional. I felt sad. I felt stuck. I felt that it was an endless stuckness, that there was no way out. No way out. I'm trapped. I felt trapped. Okay. When I saw that I was swirling in those feelings, sitting on my bed this morning, I'd already made my coffee and I'd already fed the dogs, but I was sitting in that energy and I was, I was, sitting in that energy and I thought to myself, what is it really that I'm feeling? And that's when I saw the visual of this massive steak. And let's say it's medieval times. That's what it felt like. So there may be an aspect that this was a past life experience that I was tuning into because there may be people in my current life right now involved in that past life experience, which is wild. And by the way, if you don't know, I'm certified in past life regression, quantum healing hypnosis therapy. And I used to do a lot of QHHT, is what it's called, sessions for people, and still do sometimes. It just hasn't been my focus. But I'm very well versed in past life. And I think part of why that time in my life, that season when I was doing lots of sessions with people, was for me to really understand the craft so that I could bring it into the work that I do now. So I incorporate that when I work with people individually. And I'm able to tune in and see past life energies, and I'm able to tune in and see how there's connections for you. And I don't necessarily need to drop you into some hypnosis state, but I think that there was a practice and there was some tuning that was occurring for me at the time when I was doing a lot of those sessions. And now I have the ability to see past lives. I could just see them, you know? And so there I was this morning, and I was really tuning in like, okay, I got to get myself out of this funk. Like, I'm in a funk. And I was feeling as if the world around me, I was feeling trapped. That's the best word. Immobilized, in a state of complete dysfunction, robotic, numb, detached, empty. I'm sharing these words because that is me tuning into the energy of what I was feeling in those moments. And I'm going to tell you, as a human being with the biggest heart and so much empathy for humanity and for myself and for people, that made me so sad to see that I felt that deep. And so that is when I saw this massive stake through my body, and I was pinned to the ground, dead. And so I was like, oh, okay, but I can remove that. I can remove that right now. And so I took my hand, literally, and I put it around that stake and I pulled it out and I sent it back to God. And I asked God to release me from that timeline and release me from that moment and release me from that stake. It doesn't matter who it is that put it in me. It has something to do with work. I'm very clear about that. It doesn't matter which of the individuals it is. It just doesn't matter. It might just be the pure energy of the company. I do see that there are people there, but it doesn't matter. It's not about that. It's about who will I be in the state of overwhelm when I recognize that I'm immobilized? How will I get myself out? So that was one of the actions I took this morning. And then I continued on with my day and I said, keep putting one foot in front of the other. It's going to get lighter. It's going to get easier. Keep putting one foot in front of the other. And I did. I got to the point to where I could, got my son to school, had a phone call with a friend, shared with her like, oh, this is where I'm at today. And really just putting it out, like getting it out of my head. And then also knowing I had to do a recording today. I had to do this podcast today because I have a deadline. I have a commitment to you and I have a commitment to myself. And my commitment to you is that I said every other week I would post a podcast and I would share and I would put myself out there. And I really didn't want to. I really didn't know what it was going to look like today. But this is what it looks like today. And I knew that I wanted to talk about self-care. Because as I talked about the court of life and being on the court and how I see it as this basketball game, what's funny is when I started thinking of self-care, and if you didn't listen to the last episode, do. It's great because I talk about overwhelm, but I talk about how I see life as this basketball game, and I'm one of the star players. I'm on the court and it's full court press. We are playing hard. You know, those basketball games where it's back and forth and back and forth and up and down the court. And it is like a high scoring game and it's going. I feel like life is like that right now. Okay. And when I posted that video, I knew that this week was going to be about self care, and Phil Jackson came to my mind. If you're not familiar with who Phil Jackson was, he is the former coach of the Chicago Bulls, who then also went to coach the Los Angeles Lakers. And he was one. And back then, I used to watch a ton of basketball. I don't watch any basketball now. I know nobody. I have no idea who's playing what with who or where. Have no idea who's doing well. I will say the Warriors were my team back then. I loved the Chicago Bulls back then. I loved the Lakers. Sean Kemp was one of my favorite players. Scottie Pippen, like this is a long ass time ago. Okay. And Kobe was up and coming at that time, and Shaquille O'Neal was, up and coming. And of course, we had I was going to say Michael Jackson, Michael Jordan. Might as well be the same. Michael Jackson, Michael Jordan. You got Michael Jackson is, the god of music, and Michael Jordan, the god of, basketball and sports. Well, basketball at least. But anyhow, get it back on topic here. So I started thinking of Phil Jackson. And if any of you know his story, I don't know his full story, but what I do know, and I just started listening to some of his books because I was like, he's popping in my mind. Why is that? What I didn't know about him is his love of basketball and his love of spirituality, and how he knew that somehow those two things played a part in one another. What I also didn't fully know, I knew that there was a time where he brought meditation and he brought books, the reading of books to the team. But what I didn't know, and also I do know when he implemented those things with the Lakers, it totally transformed the way they played. It transformed them as a team, but it transformed their level of success. It became a whole different level of success. Because if any of you guys followed basketball way back then, if any of you remember back in that time, him, Phil Jackson, and Kobe Bryant would butt heads as coach and player. And what I didn't know is that Phil Jackson decided to hire a therapist that specialized in narcissism because he wanted to better understand his team, because he had a team full of big players. He had Shaquille O'Neal, he had Karl Malone, he had Greg Payton, he had Kobe Bryant. He had all these big names, big egos. Whether ego good or bad, doesn't matter. These are big energies, right? Big, successful, competitive, fired up energies. And he wanted to better understand how to work with them so that they could win. That was a form of self-care. So I'm going to draw this back to when I say the court of life, and I see it as a basketball game. And there was a coach, and you're the coach. You're the coach of your team. You're the coach of your life. You're the coach of your game. You're the star player in your game. You got to be all those things in your game, because on the court of life, this is your game. As the coach, he took it upon himself for self-care, self-nurturing. He brought therapy, meditation, and books to the team. And he knew if he could somehow bring that spiritual aspect into the game and to merge those two, that there would be this whole new experience and expansion of his team. And he succeeded. I think he's got a book called 11 Rings or something, because the guy's got 11 rings, right? They won championship after championship after championship, right? Back to self-care. I want to talk about the 7 things that I do and that I took on. Well, I didn't do all of them today, but I did some of them to raise my frequency, to remind myself who I am, to embrace the fact that, yes, I am managing an overwhelming task of things. This being one of them, my podcast. And I'm committed to this because it is a platform for me to really speak my truth, to be my truth, and to have access to my purpose. And my purpose here is to share my journey, because there might be someone out there today that really needs to hear what I have to say. There might be someone out there listening. You may be listening, really needing some form of support, knowing you're not alone, some form of inspiration or a perspective shift, just hearing something newly or different to align you to what's next for you. I know that that is part of my purpose and my mission here is to share my story. So today I was weepy. I was sad. I was sullen. I felt empty. And I had all these thoughts running through my mind. How much longer, God? I can't go yet, God. I have a boy to raise. Sometimes I want out of this game. Why did I create it to be so big? Why is the game hard? Where is my partner, God? Why does it look the way it does? Why did I end up at a company that looks the way it does? What's happening today, God? That's my brain. Okay. Those are things that are running through my mind. And as I choose to then sit on my bed with my hand on my heart, one of the number one things I do is meditate and recenter. So if you haven't tried that on in the state of overwhelm or any state that you're in, just even if you're in a great positive state of life, you're in a positive season of life, meditate, call back to center, put your hand on your heart, and take a few quiet, deep breaths and just be in your body. Be in your body. No thought. And if you see a thought, let it go and just be in your body. That moment of recenter is required for me on a daily basis to balance my nervous system, to quiet my mind, to center me, to ground me back into this moment. If you already do that, I think that's great. If you didn't realize that that's a form of self-care for you, recognize it and embrace it and take it in more because it's so vital and so important. Recenter your heart, recenter your mind. Another thing that I forgot about that Phil Jackson would do, which is so cool, is if they had a losing streak, they would burn sage. Now, whether they're burning it for the gym or themselves, they would burn sage to break the cycle of the energy. That's amazing. So, what did I do today? I burned a bunch of sage. I turned on music. Okay, so number two, I burned sage. Okay, that's number two. When I clean my house, I just haven't been cleaning it as much as I used to because I've been so busy and caught up in my overwhelm. But I would burn Palo Santo or sage, my favorite things to do. And I know it clears the energy, it clears the mental blocks, it clears the constructs of the matrix. Like, let's break it down and create new energy. So that's a form of self-care for me. It's cleansing my space, cleansing the energies, breaking down all that stagnant energy. And I know my ex used to get so upset. He'd be like, "You've been burning that stuff again. I can smell it." He would come home from work because I had burned it all over the place. And often too, when I was doing hypnosis sessions with people, I would clear the house and burn it and clear the house out, after every session. I would smudge the space. So that is another thing that I do for self-care. Another thing that I do for self-care that is so important, and it really helped my state of overwhelm today, is you move your body. Move your body, whether that's walking, whether that's working out, whether that's dancing. So working out and walking is a big one. That is a big one where I like to clear my mind, clear my space, clear my head. Working out is great because I get the endorphins going. And especially I like to do my workouts. I have a gym set up, like a little gym set up somewhat. It's funny because if you saw my gym in my garage, you'd be like, that's your gym. I'd say, yes, it is. My setup in my garage is it's small, but I love it because it's in the heat. So I work out in the heat, and I love that because not only am I like pumping irons and doing my thing, but I'm sweating like a crazy person. And I love that because I'm sweating out the toxins and I'm really moving that energy through my body and getting it out. And so it's important. Movement for me is a form of self care. And when I'm really feeling in a funk and I start to move, whether it's running, walking, preferably walking, I don't run anymore, but walking and working out is huge. I just love it. I feel clear. I feel my frequency has raised. I feel lighter. I feel more directed, focused. I go into a zone. I go into a zone, and it really is about strengthening my body and healing my body. And often when I work out, I will talk to my body and ask it to heal, to repair, and to restore. So that's another thing that I do for self care. I also do the big six. If you're not familiar with the big six lymphatic movement, I will try to find something to put a link down in the show notes of the big six. It's a lymphatic drainage. What would you call that? I want to say it's a routine, but it's like it's a routine. Yeah, it's a routine, and you're moving the lymph in the various areas of your body, and so that's something I love to do as well. And I do that pretty much on the daily in the morning when I first wake up. I often this summer I would go out and stand out back and put my feet on the earth and do it out there out back, and I would let the dogs out and the rest of the property and I would do it and I would be standing under the moon or whatever, or as the sun's coming up, or both the sun's coming up while the moon's still sitting up there and moving that lymph. And I will say that doing that on a regular basis has lifted my spirits. It has felt as if I have more energy. I feel like my sleeping patterns have gotten better. I feel like my elimination patterns are better and more frequent and stronger, like more, what's the word? Healthy. Yes, we're talking about healthy elimination, as in, yes, number one and two. Those things are important to your health as well as your self care. So that is really important to me. And I find that if I don't do it a few days in a row, I will hear my mind say, you need to do that because it's as if you're keeping that when you're keeping that lymph system moving and keeping it the channels clean. You want I just keep seeing the body in a state of movement. You want everything, the fluids are moving. They're traveling out and through. You don't want things getting clogged up, okay? Because that clogs up your energy as well. So that's another thing that I do for self-care. Um, Meditation and prayer I talked about. Oh my gosh. Baths. I took a bath this week too. I usually will take 3 baths to 4 baths a week. Because it's summer, I haven't taken that many because it's hot, so I'll take showers. But oh, lately I've been getting in the bath, and man, can I tell you, my favorite thing to do with baths is salts. So either a Epsom salt, which is fine, but I like to get the scented Epsom salts with like lavender infused oils or eucalyptus infused oils. If you have a Sprouts nearby, they sell those infused ones and they're amazing. So I love that. I love taking baths, and I tend to be somebody who will sit in the bathtub for like an hour, sometimes an hour and a half, and the water's like cold. I don't care. I'm just enjoying. But the beauty is that when you're sitting in the salts, you are neutralizing, cleansing, and clearing any of those stuck energies that you may have picked up in your frequency field when you're out into the world, you know? that is a way that I clear those energies when I've been out in the world all day, especially if I've been working and talking to people all day. It's like I want to clear and neutralize those energies that are stuck inside of my energy field. That is one of the big things that I do for self-care. And I want to reiterate that when I do these things, I feel better. My spirits feel lifted. I feel good. I feel clear. I feel relaxed. I feel at peace. And why is this important? Because when you start feeling all those things, when you take the time out to do those things for yourself, your family gets to reap the rewards of that and the benefits of that. Not only you, but your family, because you're less stressed, you're more at peace, you have more clarity and calm, and you can just be in the space and the presence of them. So, baths, big thing. Okay, here's something that is kind of fun that I love, and I forget. I forget how important it is to my self care. And I was reminded just recently because I went to a festival a couple weekends ago, the ACL Austin City Limits Music Festival, which is one of the largest festivals in the US and has been going on for many, many years. And it's a 3 day, it's 2 weekends, 3 days. So it's 2 weekends of a Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. This last year, I went to weekend two on Saturday and Sunday. I did not do all 3 days because it's, oh man, to do all 3 days is, it takes something. But I got 2 days in, and I was amazed at how elated I was through the rest of the week and just feeling good. And I forgot how important it is for me. Like, I forget that a part of my self care is seeing live music. A part of my self care is moving my body. But there's something about sharing live music with friends and being out with friends, whether you're getting cute for a festival or cute for a concert, and you're comfortable because you're going to dance and you know you're going to be dancing, and the music and the sound and just the libation, like the liberating experience of the music, the energy, the people, all of it, that fills my cup. That for me is a form of self-care. And there were times when I would make myself wrong for the investments that I make going to concerts. Because as y'all know, concerts are no joke. They're not 30 and $40 like they were back in when I was young. Okay. We used to go to festivals for like $45 and see seven bands. Now it's like, yeah, that's not happening. So it's it's an investment for me. Those are things that are really important for me to feel good and to get through the next day and to continue being the strength and the purpose and the will that I need to be for myself and my son. As I've shared before, it's me doing all of it. And my son is getting to an age where he's stepping up and he continues to step up and he continues to show who he is and he continues to help and do more. But I'm still mom. I'm still the one. I just thought of that song, Still the One. Okay, I won't get into that song, but we're just having fun. And I'm still the one. Is that how the lyrics go? I don't remember. But that's a song from my childhood. So those are, I actually oh, I got two more on here. So the other two, um, is that right? Yeah. Oh, so, okay. Live music is one. Okay. I don't want to collapse this, but I'm going to. Live music and dancing. Now, I know that I said dancing in the movement portion, and that's important. Movement is important, but there's something about dancing. Okay. I have found that I dance after my workouts when I work out in the gym because I got music going and I'll start dancing in between either sets or after. I'll just dance for a while. I also decided today to dance, just dance, like put on music. I put on my headset and put on some Dua Lipa and just rocked my little tush off before I, sat down to record and wanted to really lift my energies again. And then I decided to do some cleaning and cleaned up my office and vacuumed and did all the things, like the things that I know to remove clutter, remove dirt, remove stagnant energy. So some of the things I did for self-care today was I smudged the whole house. I vacuumed and dusted my whole office. I danced. I actually marked some things off of my to-do list today. But some of those things being incorporated into self-care and remembering that who I am is a magnificent being of God. Who I am is a radiant soul that continues to do her work, that continues to put one foot in front of the other, that continues to do what is necessary to get out of my way, but also to give myself the grace in the moments of time to just respect that, you know what? I'm feeling sadness today. You know what? I'm feeling whatever today. I'm feeling all the feels. And one of the most important things I do during those times is I get in communication. I think it's very important to get in communication. What I mean by getting in communication is call a friend. Call a friend who you know has the capability and the ability to listen from a non-judgmental place and just hold space for you. Not like you have to fix anything, but just really to hold space for you so that you can empty that basket of thought and emotion and feels. And it just goes into a safe space, a safe container, and it's out of your head, out of your body. Those are things that I do when I'm in this state. And I look forward to being on the other side of this state. But as I continue to walk this journey, I must do what's necessary for self-care and for keeping myself motivated and in action. Oh, I forgot one more. I've only shared six. The other thing that I do, and I schedule it every 6 weeks, is a massage. And there are times when I feel that I should probably not have this massage, you know, but it's worth it. It's worth the $100. It's my body feels so different and so released and so relaxed and so de-stressed when I walk off or walk out of my the gal that I go to. I'm a regular with her. She's amazing. I just and I always get excited knowing that I'm going to go there because I know exactly what she's going to do. I know exactly how it's going to feel and I know exactly how I'm going to feel afterwards. And it's amazing. And it releases so much for me. She does like a deep tissue Swedish massage style, and I just love it. And it's great. It's amazing. And it is exactly what my body needs, with all that I take on. So let me just review the 7 things. I'll recap them real quick. Move your body, number 1. The big 6, number 2. Actually, meditate was the first one, right? So, but I'll get to meditate. So moving your body, doing the big 6 lymphatic massage, meditate and prayer. So important. So important. I pray every day, multiple times throughout the day. And then I do try to touch base and meditate inside my body with my body, inside my space. And when I say inside, like I really just pull it all in. I pull everything in and just be within myself on that meditation. Taking baths, huge. Concerts, live music, huge. Gotta have it. Dancing and massages. Those are some of the things that I do for self-care. There's other things I do too, but those are the big ones. Those are the big ones. So I encourage you, take time out for you this week, today, after listening to this episode. What's something you will do for yourself? What's something you will do to fill your cup? Because I promise you, when your cups are full, you have energy. Another thing for self-care, oh my God, go to bed. Go to bed, get sleep. I've been practicing trying to get 6 to 7 hours of sleep. My body pretty much typically only does 5. So I'm really trying to push for that 6 and 7. But sleep is so crucial. Going to bed early. Oh my gosh, right? I try to get in bed no later than 10. Sometimes I go way past 10 into 11, 11:30, and that's not healthy for me. It doesn't work for me. My body doesn't like that. If I can do it by 10 or earlier, oh my God, my body's happy. These are the little things that will make a difference in your world. These are the little things that will have you experience peak performance within yourself, however that may look. You feel like you have brain fog. You feel like you're losing your memory. You feel like you're, you know, whatever, you're butterfingers, whatever, you're shaky, you're stressed out, whatever it is. These little things, these tips of find the 7 things that fill your cup. Find the 4 things that fill your cup. Find the 10 things, whatever it is. You're already doing some of them, but incorporate more because you're worth it. You deserve it. You deserve to feel good at all times. So love on you. That's what I say. So I just want to say thank you so much again for tuning in. My name is Tara Mychelle, the Intuitive Mentor Mom. I am just excited to be with you when I can be. And thank you so much for listening. Have a blessed and beautiful day. And I will see you on the next episode where we will continue to talk about things about being on the court of life and what that looks like. I'm going to keep diving into this because there's some juicy nuggets in being on the court of life and how you navigate these spaces. Have an amazing day. We'll talk with you soon. Take care. Thank you for coming on this healing adventure today. If you're starting to see how everything is falling into place for you, consider rating the show and sharing it with one of your friends. Keep that spirit alive and join me next week, same place, same time. Have a great week.